Hey, welcome back to the channel. I think it's time to talk about the different levels of privacy that a person can achieve. This is something that I've been meaning to make for a while, and now that we've got a matter of like 1,000 new members in the matter of 1 week, which is insane. That last video that I talked about with Microsoft somehow got picked up by the algorithm, despite the fact that it was like one of the most generic videos that I ever made. So welcome to all the new members. Appreciate the support as always. But I've been meaning to make this video for a while, and I think now is the time to do it now that we've got a whole bunch of new people in the community. And it's regarding the different levels of privacy that people will seek out, whether they are new to this or whether they have a little bit of experience, the levels of privacy that someone will seek out that they are aware of, or levels of privacy that they are not yet aware of, but they find out about over time. And some people will only want to get a little bit of extra privacy, and some people want to take it all the way. So I'm going to talk about that gap that a lot of people want to try to bridge, some of the challenges of it, and also why it's a good idea, even if people only want to get a little bit of privacy, why it's a good idea to try and bring people in, even if it is for something that is just a small amount. So you're probably wondering why the hell I've got this building here. I figured this would be a good example or a good analogy to use to explain what it is that I'm talking about. So let's say there's this person down here that is looking at getting into privacy. They've just heard about it. They've taken a look at some sort of newspaper article or whatnot, and they're like, oh, you know what? There's tons of data collection going on and all that. I need to start learning about this because this is a problem. So let's say that this building here represents all the different levels of privacy. So you start in here at the ground floor and you work your way up through the individual floors, and as you go up more, it takes more and more effort to be able to learn about stuff. So let's take our average user here that uses Microsoft and Google services. Now, for a lot of people, what it may entail is that their first step getting into privacy and enhancing their privacy may be that they need to go and sign up for something like Proton Mail. That could be a person's first step. It's pretty easy. Oh, I want to get rid of Gmail, so I'm going to open up a Proton Mail account. Pretty simple, but hey, it's a start. And then they take it a step further and like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to use my Chromebook anymore, or I'm not going to use Windows 11. I'm going to go ahead and start using Linux. And then that turns into where they start using the Matrix messaging platform, whether it's something like one of the several different apps that use this, and then maybe they want to take it a step further and go full-time into using Cubes as an operating system, or using Tor and its derivative like operating system, so things like Tails or Unix. So you've got a really big gap between your average computer user and someone who is up here that really needs to have their privacy and security dialed in, someone like Snowden, who, I mean, he's got to have his shit tightened up like 24/7, or otherwise he's going to face some serious issues. Now, this is a really big gap. There's a lot of stuff that is entailed with this. Now, something that I see come up on Reddit quite a bit is people that talk about being overwhelmed with stuff. Every now and then I'll see these threads come up on the privacy Reddit, but here's a person talking about starting their privacy journey. So I just recently started my privacy journey after being motivated by people on the subreddit, but I feel like I'm not doing enough. This is something that I also see come up a lot, is this general sentiment. These are literally the only changes I've made so far, switching from Gmail to Skiff and switching from Google Chrome to Brave. I tried switching from WhatsApp to Signal, but the only person I could persuade to download Signal was my dad. I still use YouTube, using a throwaway Gmail and Instagram for my extended family who don't use WhatsApp. And then he also started using like Bitwarden password manager, and he's using Safari on his iPhone with the DuckDuckGo search engine. I'm feeling extremely overwhelmed as there are many things I need to improve privacy-wise. I'd love if you could give me some tips. And a lot of the comments on here tend to be really good towards people that are trying to get started into this. And that's something that I would echo for anyone that's coming into this community is, you know, don't ever feel like you're not doing enough. Sometimes you just need to start with those training wheels, just start with those baby steps. So switching from Gmail to something like Skiff or Proton Mail, switching browsers. Again, it's training wheels. You don't need to go super crazy on this. If you are, let's say you're coming to this channel, you watch that last video that got a whole bunch of views, and you're one of the many new subscribers here, and you're wondering, okay, well, what's all this privacy stuff about? Just take simple steps. You don't need to be super complicated about this and jump straight to, okay, well, I'm going to ditch Windows and I'm just going to go straight to using Cubes. There might be some people that do that, but the vast majority of people are not going to be interested in doing that. They're just going to want to take small steps. And so let's say you are coming into this, you are completely new to this, you're starting out here down on the ground floor, and you just want to go to, like, let's say a couple levels up. Now, some people might get there and maybe they don't ever want to move any further than that, and that's okay. I'm not one of these privacy purists. I realize that everyone has their own levels that they need to adapt to. So, like I said, for someone like Snowden, he has no choice but to be up here at the top of the privacy realm to protect his ass. But like your average user, they're going to be like, okay, well, I want some privacy, but I don't feel like dumping all this stuff. I don't want to get rid of Instagram and Facebook and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and keep those. But I'll go ahead and switch like email. I might switch my messaging app over or something like that. So some people may get to one of these lower floors and be like, okay, you know what? I'm good there. I'm just going to stop. I don't need to do anymore. And that's okay. And if you're one of those people and you're watching this video, that's completely okay. I have no issue with that. Some people, as time goes on, as the years go on, and I've been one of these people myself, as years go on, you learn more about stuff as you go on with your daily life. You know, people have jobs, responsibilities. They're just learning a little bit of this stuff here and there, and so they slowly build up to all of these different levels. And some people might want to go all the way up here, and some people might want to cap out somewhere like here or here. But again, there's all these different levels, and that's completely fine. There might be people, so if you took these and you were to draw out different levels here, Snowden's basically on his completely own level here, where people that have stuff with governments and stuff coming after them, that they need to be up here. But someone that's just worried about, you know, I don't want this corporate spying stuff going on, so I just want to have some level of privacy, they may just go here. Now, when people are coming into this, it's important. So let's say you are trying to teach other people about privacy. Now, one of the issues is with people that stay down here and they never work on trying to improve their privacy, it can become an issue for the people that are privacy conscious, because let's say you share like phone numbers and conversations with people and it's like through text message and they download the Facebook app. Well, when you download the Facebook app, you can go read it on the App Store permissions list, that when you click OK, well, like when you go to install it and use it, you have to give them permission to access a whole bunch of shit on your phone. And that includes that they are going to pull your entire contact list off of your phone to be able to use that. So people that are not using privacy measures at all tend to drag the privacy conscious down, where even though they have taken steps to protect themselves, that it hurts their efforts because other people are being careless about their privacy. But the important thing, when people are down here, when you're trying to get someone introduced to privacy, you have to start slowly and build up. Just plant the idea in their mind of, hey, you know, just bring it up casually to someone. Like, let's say you know someone that has never been introduced to privacy before, just bring it up casually and find some way to just gently introduce them to it. You know, like show them an article or something that would highlight why they should care about privacy, like some sort of privacy issue going on. Here's one of the bigger examples, was the 23andMe hack that came up. I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago. And that's going to affect a lot of people because a lot of people were going and having their DNA tests done. Like, I don't know why people thought it was a good idea to go send that kind of information to these companies, like their DNA information, all their personal information to these companies. But, you know, some people just, I don't know if they don't think about it or if they don't care what the deal is. But if you plant that idea, then you can kind of let that grow and just nurture it over time. The problem is that I see some people will try to go overboard. So some of the things that I've seen on the privacy subreddit, for example, and other subreddits as well, is people will try and just take these people that are new to this and they're trying to start learning, and they will just overload them with a whole bunch of shit. The problem is when you do that, it does one of two things. First of all, the first thing that happens is they will typically get overloaded. And so they're like, oh, you know what? There's just way too much stuff to this. I'm not even going to bother. You know, I don't have time for this. I'm not going to learn about any of this. Or the other thing that will happen is if you go really overboard on stuff to someone that's trying to get into this for the first time, is they might look at you and be like, okay, well, this person's crazy. They're a conspiracy theorist. I see this come up on Reddits. I've seen this come up on comments on YouTube videos of people talking about, oh, well, there's not all of this data collection going on from places like Facebook and Google. It's like that feeds their ad engine. At the end of the day, that's why 99% of these companies are collecting all of that, is to feed their ad engine, because they want to sell you products, because they know that your data is worth a lot of money. That's why they're constantly harvesting it so they can sell you on the next new piece of garbage product that's going to hit the market. And the other thing we're going to mention is the only reason that this kind of shit is going on right now, and why it will probably go on for a long time, and why it will probably get worse. Like, I don't see this getting better. It's only gotten worse over the past years, and it will probably continue to do so, is because the vast majority of people are okay with it. Now, a lot of the content that I make on my channel is trying to educate people and get them and take people that are down here or maybe on this floor or this floor and just try to move them up a few floors. I'm not trying to go take people and bring them all the way up here. There's plenty of other YouTube channels out there that do that kind of stuff. I'm trying to get these people down here just to go up here or up here. And the two types of content for that are very different. The types of content that I would make trying to get people into privacy and using things like Whonix or cubes, those kind of videos are going to be way different than me making a video talking about here's why you should use encrypted DNS. Like, that's a very basic thing. It's very easy to turn on encrypted DNS. It takes like 1 or 2 minutes at most to do it. And that's something that a lot of your average home users would be like, oh, okay, well, I see the benefits of that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on. So that's kind of the point of a lot of the videos that I make. And I'm trying to also get the people who, they don't have anything to hide. Like, I would say probably 99.9% of the people that watch privacy videos have absolutely nothing to hide. They just don't want to show people. Like, it's no one's fucking business what you're doing in the privacy of your own home. Like, if you want to get on the hub 3 times a day, I don't see that as being any of Google's or Facebook's business that you're using the hub. But back to my point. So the reason that a lot of this stuff is going on is because the vast majority of people just don't care. And that's the shame about this, and that's why this stuff is continuing to go on. Because if there was a mass movement of people that actually cared about this, we would start to see this kind of stuff go away. Here's a similar example for people. So streaming, so Netflix years ago used to actually be a pretty good deal. You could find a lot of good movies on there. I think it was $7 or $8 a month at that time. This was years ago. I'm talking like 8 or 10 years ago, back before it really started to go downhill. So you could find all these good TV shows and all these good movies on there, and they had a good selection that would rotate on there. Well, over time, we had things like HBO and Disney and Amazon and Hulu and all this other crap pop up, where all these content providers or content networks pulled all of their stuff off. Disney, well, we're going to have our own subscription service because we're just not making enough money from Netflix and Amazon Prime. So we're going to pull all of our content over onto our own platform, and we're going to charge, I don't know how much they charge for it. I'm sure it's probably 20 to 30 bucks a month for their streaming service. I think HBO is about the same. So now we've got this bullshit going on where we've got these 10 different streaming platforms, and if you want to get access to all of it, you're looking at paying 200 bucks a month, which is the same as what people used to pay for a TV or for a cable subscription. And now they're adding ads into it. Like I saw Amazon Prime is adding ads into their paid service soon, and you have to pay extra if you don't want to see ads. It's just this massive greed where they're trying to extract as much as they can and lower the amount of value that they are giving. And I saw some articles come up on Reddit here like 2 or 3 weeks ago talking about how people sailing the high seas it's going back to like all-time high numbers because people are getting fed up with this. They're tired of paying 200 bucks a month for shit services. Like, if you go to Netflix, you have to meet this whole list of system requirements in order to play 4K video. And if one little thing, like if you have a dual monitor setup, it doesn't work because it doesn't meet their DRM requirements, and then your shit gets streamed at 480p, which is completely unacceptable in today's day and age. You should be able to watch stuff in 4K, especially if you're paying for it. But the reason that this stuff is gotten so bad, and the reason that it will likely get worse, is the vast majority of people, like I said, they just don't care. And in order to change that, the approach needs to be, or at least for some of the people, and that, like I said, this is what I'm doing with my videos, is where I'm gradually bringing people into it And then if they decide they want to go down a deeper rabbit hole and learn more about this and learn about things like cubes or Hunix, that there's videos out there that will serve their needs. And I'm just going to show you one more thing here that really should drive the point home. So Mozilla did this. I mentioned this probably back in October or maybe November of this spying going on from cars. But Mozilla did the study on these cars talking about how all these trackers, there's all these cameras, sensors, all this stuff. Like modern cars have these, you can make phone calls. It's got the Air CarPlay or whatever the hell it's called, where you can connect phones and things like that. And here's the issue that comes up with that stuff. Is Mozilla said all 25 car brands we researched earned our privacy not included warning label, making cars the official worst category of products for privacy that we have ever reviewed. So he says here, one, they collect too much personal data. All of them. They can collect personal information from how you interact with your car, the connected services you use in your car, the car's app, which provides a gateway to information on your phone, and can gather even more information about you from third-party sources like SiriusXM or Google Maps. The ways that car companies can collect and share your data are so vast and complicated that we wrote an entire piece on how that works. The gist is they can collect your super intimate information about you, from your medical information, your genetic information, to your sex life, to how fast you drive, where you drive, what songs you play in your car, in huge quantities. They then use that to invent more data about you through inferences about things like your intelligence, abilities, and interests. Two, at most 84% share or sell your data. It says 76% say they can sell your personal data. Here's another one. This is another big issue. Most, 92%, give drivers little to no control over their personal data. All but 2 of the 25 car brands we reviewed earned our ding for data control, meaning only 2 brands say that all drivers have the right to have their personal data deleted. We would like to think this deviation is one car company taking a stand for drivers' privacy. It's probably no coincidence that though these cars are only available in Europe, which is protected by the GDPR, in other words, car brands often do whatever they legally can get away with to your personal data. Then obviously there's the security issues with all that. Like, are they actually protecting your data, or are they just being extremely careless with it, which, spoiler alert, they are careless. And here's something, this is really asinine. It says, however, if you no longer wish for us to collect vehicle data, this coming from Tesla. However, if you no longer wish for us to collect vehicle data or any other data from your Tesla vehicle, please contact us to deactivate connectivity. Please note certain advanced features such as over-the-air updates, remote services, internet activity with mobile applications, in-car features, etc., rely on such connectivity. If you opt out of vehicle data collection, we will not be able to share or notify you of issues applicable to your vehicle in real time. And here's in bold, this may result in your vehicle suffering from reduced functionality, serious damage, or interoperability. So for people to really drive this point home, think about how asinine this is, that you go pay full price for a product, then you can't even opt out of data collection without potentially damaging your vehicle because you won't know when problems are coming up with it. But then they go and collect all of your personal data and they sell it. Well, why in the hell are people paying full price for this shit and then having all of their personal data harvested on top of that? Like I said, the only reason that this kind of shit goes on is because the vast majority of people allow it. I know there's a lot of people that might think the privacy community is big, which, I mean, yeah, it is. But in the grand scheme of things, if you compare the privacy community as a whole to the rest of the world's population, we're in a super, super niche community. Like, there's very few of us compared to people who, to be blunt, they don't care about any of this stuff. They don't give a shit. They're like, oh yeah, well, I'll just sign all this stuff away. Look at all the people that sign up for Facebook. Facebook has one of the biggest data collection machines out of any tech company. And there's 2, 3, 4 billion people that are using Facebook on, I think it's a monthly basis. The vast majority of people, they just don't care, is what it comes down to. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. I talk about privacy stuff quite a bit on this channel. It's not everything. I've got more videos coming up, I made a new website recently, so I'm gonna make a video covering how I made that website so people can replicate the steps that I took if that's something they want to do. And I talk about a lot of other tech stuff too. It's not just privacy, but this is kind of a good primer to people that are new to the channel, and then also for people to really know where I stand with why I'm making certain pieces of privacy videos. If there's anything in particular you want to see me cover, I'm open to suggestions. Just go ahead and drop a comment down below and let me know. I'll take a look at it. I am absolutely open to making videos that people would like to see. So anyway, with that being said, appreciate the support as always, and I will see you in the next one.